Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this chat with the Disability Services and Career Services offices. Today, we have Britta Roan, the Associate Director of Career Services, Jennifer McLeod, the Program Manager of Career Services, Judy Walker, the Disability Services Coordinator, and me, Kathy Sider, the Disability Services Testing Center and Alternative Formatting Coordinator. During this event, we invite you to submit any questions or comments you may have using the chat box or the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. We will do our best to answer the questions as we go or get to them at the end. Now I will turn it over to the Career Services team to share some career readiness topics and resources that are available to you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hope you're enjoying the nice weather we've been having. Let me tell you a little bit about Career Services first. We'll just flip the screen and give you a little overview of all the things that we can do. So Career Services, we're over in the youth center, not youth center, we are over in, we used to be. We are over in the, well, we're virtual right now, so that's the main thing. We help you with career planning. We have career planning appointments. You can meet with us virtually. You can have your resume reviewed virtually. We also have the Talent Gateway, which is an online program where you can do a lot of reflecting. They have career planning steps that you can go through, and you can also, what's nice with that, it's game-based, so you can track yourself, and there's awards to get, so it's a real nice way to stay motivated, and they make it really fun. So I would recommend trying that, because you are going to be doing a lot of career-related exercises in the Talent Gateway, and so it works together with us, so that's why we are together with them, and we work with you individually through doing a resume review. If you'd like to do a mock interview, we have those available. When we're on campus, we have employers around campus at promo tables. We send all of that up. And then also we have events such as Ford Day, which will also be virtual this fall. That happens, and our career fair is also going to be virtual, which will be on October the 8th. We have federal nonprofit career fairs. So all those things you see on there, teacher, health services. Also, what's really important, our job board is on Career Connections, and it's not just jobs, it's jobs. So that's a really good one to stay together with, because once you're on Career Connections, anything that's related to careers, you'll be kept up to date on. So those are basically, we have workshops. We do have a lot of workshops that we've done online this summer that you can go back and look at, at a time that works well for you. We're also taping this, so if you wanted to review it again, you can go back and review it, and you get the PowerPoint as well. And so those are just a few of the things we can help you with, but we do want you to know we're here for you, and that you can work with us also as an alum. And if you have siblings who are prospective students, we also meet with prospective students. So if you'd like that, just let us know, and we can work with you that way too. So that's just a brief overview of the things that we do. We have a lot of online resources as well, and we'll go over that in a little bit more detail as we get through the program. But that's our link below, and that's how you can get there. So the first thing I'd like to show you is a career assessment. Focus is a free career assessment. It has a lot of different sections to it, but it's really helpful when you are maybe trying to decide what to major in, or maybe even if you know your major, but you're not sure exactly how you'd like to use it, or if you'd like to learn more about what your other interests might be. So you could use Focus at a lot of different times in your life. If you're changing careers, if you are coming back to campus after a break, all those times you can use Focus. So as you can see, there's many different reasons to use it. Also, if you're finishing your undergrad and there's some grad schools, professional schools you're considering, by using Focus, it can give you some ideas about the kinds of occupations that you're interested in. So I really recommend using it. You get a permanent record in Focus, so you can go back in it. Like, let's say you take it now, and you can take it again and look at it and see how the results look. And we can also see the results. So if you'd like to take the inventory and then meet with us, we can access your results and talk to you about them. And it's nice because there's a lot of little inventories built into Focus. So, and that's how these inventories work. So if you see first you're going to see what your interests are, the work interests. And that relates very closely to what they call the Holland Career Codes, which you're going to hear a lot about in different types of interest assessments. But that's really helpful to see what kind of job families you're falling into in terms of your interests in general. They also look at your personality, give you some information about that, which is always interesting, your leisure interests. And you're wondering, well, why leisure interests? I'm not retiring, but leisure interests are important because sometimes the things you like to do in your free time can give you a lot of clues to what you might like to do occupationally as well. Values assessment is really important because a lot of people leave jobs because they don't feel like the values are lining up with what they feel is important. So by taking that, you get a good sense of what's important to you. You know it already, but you get it all together in one spot by doing the inventory. And then the skills assessment is basically you reporting what you feel you do well in and what you'd like to get better at. So, and then what's really cool is they combine all the assessments. So you can begin to see where there's overlap. And so if you look at these 5 different areas, if you had overlap in all of them, that would really indicate that, boy, this is something you really have a lot of interest in on all areas. And for the most part, most of them come out on the average of 3 to 2. 4 and 5 isn't as common. So if you don't get 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, don't worry, because that's not that common. Usually it's 2s and 3s that you see. And that's also, it gives you a lot of information about, and then it connects you to the different occupational profiles. So good inventory to do. And again, we can guide you through it, but it's available to you and to others that you'd like to recommend it to as well. So, okay. And we have some other assessments and inventories you can take. Those between $11.20 for the Clifton Strengths. I believe the Myers-Briggs is $11.99. Strong might be $10.99. Don't quote me on the prices, but these are inventories we can work with you on. The most common are Myers-Briggs and Strong. Those are really helpful for careers. The other 2, we work with you as well if you're interested in those, or we do a lot of workshops with those as well as Myers-Briggs. So just to let you know that those are available, and we can talk to you more about those if you have interest. But they can be very helpful in helping you see what is my leadership style, your personality. It helps a lot. I think when I took Myers-Briggs when I was a freshman, it really opened up the door for me in terms of, wow, I never, it really made a lot of sense in terms of what I liked and didn't like. So I think taking these kind of inventories can really help you with your career planning. So let's see, we'll go to the next area, or actually we're going to be shifting over. Jen is going to talk to us a little bit about how you can access our services. So I will turn it over to you, Jen.
Thanks, Britta. So what we have here, you can see is that we are open virtually, as Britta said, and we have a couple different ways that you can get in contact with us. I'm going to minimize this here so you can see. M-Success is the way that we schedule our appointments for our career services. So feel free to hop on there, and if you have any questions or you need the link, we can definitely provide that for you. It's really easy to do. There's actually a how-to guide as well if you need some extra help and support. We also now have submitting your resumes or cover letter to get reviewed on our website. So it's a quick Google form. You just upload your Word document or Google document. And it can be a basic resume, basic cover letter. It could be your first attempt, or it could be something that you've been working on for quite a while. We're just here to help. And there is a spot on the Google form for you to actually type out any questions specifically to the resume or cover letter, which is nice because then we have an idea of what you're looking for, or maybe you're in transition to a different position, different field, or maybe you just have like a brief question about, hey, like I need some help with my bullet points to make sure that they're action oriented or something like that. And as you can see here at the bottom, we also have virtual office hours we're now doing. And these virtual office hours are as simple as just entering into what you are now in a Zoom call, and we will video chat with you and answer questions. So if you have questions today, again, please mention them in the chat. We're happy to help. But this is just an hour to 2 hours a day where you'll have a career professional from our office waiting to talk to you and help you. So they're not super formal with an actual, like full resume review. That would be an appointment or a submission, but we can answer quick questions if you have it. Let's say you're writing your cover letter for a job and you have a quick question about how to, format something or how to word something correctly. We can help you with all of that and make it the most professional, you want it to be. So just a lot of ways to actually contact us. Our email will be on the last slide of this as well, so feel free to email our office. You can also email Britta or myself individually if you have specific questions, and we're happy to help. So one of the big things that we get all the time are resumes, and we do a lot of work with resumes. So we used to have walk-in hours that some of you may have used, and those were in the office, but now they are virtual. And so again, you can schedule the appointment, or you can first submit the resume and then schedule maybe a follow-up appointment when you get the feedback virtually. We do email the feedback to you, but a lot of students will follow up with scheduling an appointment because they want to have the discussion, because it is sometimes easier to have a conversation about it rather than reading through someone's description. We also have different workshops. We will rerun our resume and cover letter workshops probably throughout the summer. You'll see them again, and then this fall you'll see them even more. And we will have them posted on our website, just like this will be posted for you for additional support, so you can refer back to those workshops too. We do have what we call an applicant guide on our website, and it actually goes through more than just the resume, but one of the sections is about building your resume. So it goes through these different common sections that you might have. And just some, tidbit here of the actual resume overview, as I just wanted to show you, is like, you have your contact information in your heading, education, probably a work experience or just experience section that may include paid and unpaid experiences, and then maybe honors or affiliations or activities. So those are some common things that you may see on the resume. So we just wanted to make mention that this is a resource. Again, we do a lot of resume reviews. We have career peers in our office that do them too, which are undergraduate students that have been trained professionally to review resumes and cover letters as well. So just a lot of different ways that we can be here to support you. And I'll leave that to Britta.
Can I have a quick question, Jennifer?
Yes.
So when you submit, you have the online button, can you submit your resume or your cover letter? Is it one link, or should you submit them separately, or does it matter when you want to get them reviewed?
Let me go back here. So with the review, it's one link, and you can submit your resume and cover letter in the same form. And I can probably just pull up the form real quick if you want, if that's easier. So you can see here, can you see my screen okay?
Yep, perfect.
So this is the form. So you can do it, you can submit it to like as many times. So you don't have like a strict, you can only do it one time. So let's say you have the resume today and you want to submit it, you can do that, answer each question here. And then you submit your resume. If you want to come back in another time and you want to submit your cover letter, you could do that separate here. So there's just different ways that you can do it. And so we try to get back to you. I didn't mention this, but we try to get back to you within 2 to 3 business days. So if you submit it over a weekend, expect like kind of middle of the week to get it returned. But we're pretty quick about getting them back to you. And if for some reason you're not getting the follow-up or something got missed, which we haven't had an issue with yet, but if we get a lot, it could happen. Make sure you follow up with our office and let us know. And I'll actually have to update this because we just updated our email address. So it's a good thing I brought that up.
Yeah, we did.
I had a couple quick questions that I want to get in as well. I want to go back to Britta when you talked about your fair in October. Do you have an estimate of how many employees you plan to have during the virtual fair?
No, at this point we are, I know we did one last time. In fact, we closed right before our other career fair was canceled, and we worked with all the employers. So there were about 70 or 80, and we worked with them virtually by sending the resumes to them. So at this point, we're engaging all the same companies we work with, even some new companies. So we hope to have the same amount of companies. Again, with virtual, it might be separated in different ways, the groups and all of that. So we're still exploring that. We're working with the software right now, but we're definitely trying to get all those employers that we usually have there, and always hopefully others as well.
Great, thank you. And then one question for Jennifer.
Yep.
Jennifer, when students are putting their resume out there, do you have any tips, and in reference to, do employees tend to look at shorter resumes, or do they look at longer resumes? What would be your suggestions for that?
Yeah, so we recommend 1 page to 2 pages. Most students we work with have 1-page resumes ready to go, unless they're working with like a CV, a curriculum vitae, which is actually everything compiled that they've done. And so that would be a little different. It's used more in like the education field and some other fields, or if they have maybe advanced degrees. But in general, we recommend the 1 to 2 page resume. Again, most students are on the 1 page, especially with LinkedIn being a very common place for students to be able to post a lot of their information. And if they have their public LinkedIn personalized URL at the top in their heading for their resume, it has been researched that if employers see that LinkedIn profile available to them and they're interested in you, that they will go there and they will look at it. I think it's in like the 80% of employers will go there if they are interested in your resume. So if you have what's on there that's most relevant to the position you're applying to, and then all the additional aspects, you know, on the LinkedIn profile, that's a great way to highlight it without having too many pages. Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I lost our little thumbnail of videos here, so I don't think, I don't know.
It's okay.
Where they went.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about internships at this point, internships and co-ops. And as you can imagine right now, it's a very fluid situation in terms of which employers will have internships, how co-ops are set up. But we wanted to make sure that you have contact with all the different offices that we have available in each college. So if you're in the Castle department, Patty Martin would be your contact. And she would be available to talk to you about all types of internships in any major. And so she's going to be your contact for that particular area. For the College of Engineering, Tony De La Rosa, he's your contact for those areas. College of Education, Health and Human Services, Donna Zeri, she is in charge of the fieldwork opportunities for students in Health and Human Services. And Danielle, Dr. Danielle DeFaw, she is also working with the College of Education students, and she works primarily with you if you are in the getting a teaching certificate and you're getting ready for student teaching. So those are the contacts in those colleges. Just wanted you to know what your contacts are. And again, you will get this back so you can look at it and have all the information. For the College of Business, it's called the Information and Career Management Center. They have it divided up. Rita Aegis is working with accounting, human resources, and general business, and she also coordinates the internship program. Arlene Daly is the interim director of the Internship and Career Management Center, and she works with students in the supply chain area, information systems, and digital marketing. Taweri Wheeler is actually the interim director of, I just promoted you, Arlene. Arlene Daly works also with a lot of the employers. And our Taweri Wheeler is the interim director, and she works in finance, marketing, and small business. So what you'll do for those areas is email each one of those people in the Career Internship and Career Management Center, and then you can reach them directly to set up appointments. So just wanted you to know where all of those are so that you can tap into that. And one thing that's really important to remember, you see the box on the bottom, find a career or a job in Career Connections. That's also where you're going to find internships. They're all in one spot. Also, what you can look at is on-campus student employment, and that is really a great way to be able to learn more about not only the campus and have the convenience of working on the campus, but it often can lead to a career field. In fact, a lot of employees on the campus were originally interns on our campus, me being one of them. And so that's how you can connect with the student employment site, and you just basically follow that particular link, and you can see on-campus student employment. And that's how when it pops up, you can list it that way. You'll write Dearborn campus, and most of the they're all going to be part-time, and they'll say temporary. That's how the student positions are listed. And then you can see which jobs are in there. And again, stay in touch with us in terms of how these are moving along. But let's see, I wanted to also show you another area. Career Connections is where you're going to be able to see exactly which internships are opening up and how to apply. And these are, again, some helpful links you can use. With Career Connections, you'll want to go in there and set up your registration. That's important. And then anytime you get an additional skill, let's say you take a programming class, or you get a new certification, or you are graduated, go in there and update Career Connections. That's important too. Our Digging and Library, we've done programs together with them, and we hope to do more in the future. They have a lot of great resources for careers, and so we have a link to that. And then in the library, there is a reference librarian for each particular major. So that's another really helpful resource to be able to go to and have them assist you with these databases that you wouldn't be able to get if you just Googled them. So they have some great databases. For example, if you're a business student, there's IBIS World. And you can go in there and look at companies and get so much more information, and you'll see when they've appeared in the news. You'll also get a chance to see who their competitors are, just a lot more information than you would get on the company's website, as well as what you would get on Google. So in these databases, the library is purchased, so take advantage of them. And we can tell you more about them as well. And then, of course, the librarians will get you in touch with them. If you're an alum, some of the databases, you will need to work through the librarians to get into them. As a current student, you can get into all those databases through the way you would usually get in when you're doing research papers. But we're just mentioning a few of the resources we really recommend. LinkedIn, of course, Jen was mentioning that's really important to be. If you can get yourself into LinkedIn, that opens up so many opportunities. And we have a UM-Dearborn Job Club in there as well, so we can tell you more about that. And in LinkedIn, we have postings each day. So that's just a great way to stay out there. And ONET Online is another one that's listed there. That one is very, very helpful. You can go in there and type in a field that you're interested in. It'll bring up job titles for you, related fields. You'll see all the tasks that are involved in a job, and you'll also see what the outlook is, salary, and associations you can join. So that one is, I'd say, if there's one that you can do everything with, it's that one. And then, of course, there's many others, and we have these all on our website. And we have very general ones, large websites, and then there's more specialized ones. And so don't ignore the specialized or the smaller ones, because always with the smaller ones, you're competing with fewer people, and they're also more specialized. So do take advantage of those as well. And so, as you can see, we have them listed by sector, the nonprofit, Idealist is an example of a great website for nonprofits, government, academic. So we break it all down for you on the website. So wanted you to know we have that. And then we also help you in terms of getting ready for internships. It's many of the same things you're doing as you're getting ready for a job, your resume, practicing interviewing, all of those things we're here to help you with as you're preparing for your internships, and then also for jobs after graduation. So some other resources we have, wanted to go through these. These will all be available to you on this PowerPoint, and then you can just click. The ones I like the best, I was looking at Ability Jobs, I think is a great job board. Getting Hired is as well. And then there's another one, Fiscal Tiger is very, very helpful. And the Career One Step as well. All of these, there's even more of them on there, but I was looking through them, and I think a few of those were really, had quite a few job postings on them. So I wanted you to be able to have those available. And so these are just some of the resources that we have available. So we can probably go to the next one. So with interviewing tips, there's, as we mentioned, we do one-on-one, but I'm going to shift this over to Jen because I think you were going to tell us more about that, right?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I was going to pull up Big Interview, but one of the big things we do have coming up is the workshop that we will have in July for interviewing best practices. Again, we'll post these to our website and hopefully have some extra tools there for you, but a great tool for our students, and it's just so helpful because you can do it virtually, come to at your own pace, is Big Interview. And so it is free for you to use, and I just want to show you here. Can we see Big Interview here? My colleagues, I want to make sure I have it up.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, when you log in, you're just setting it up with your UMich information. So nothing out of the ordinary there. And again, it's free for you to use. And there's just a lot of great information. As you can see, there's a fast track for interviewing tips and tricks and lessons to learn. There's also a mastery track, which has over 50 videos for you to work through. So if we go here to the fast track, I'm just going to play an introduction video to go over. I'm just going to do the introduction to Big Interview for you, so you kind of get somebody else talking to you and kind of giving you the quick overview, and then I can answer any questions you may have or go over any extra details.
This is Pamela Skillings from Big Interview, and this video curriculum is designed to help you ace any job interview any day of the week. I'm going to walk you through the techniques that have helped thousands of my coaching clients land their dream jobs. We'll cover all of the most common questions, including the tough ones that can trip you up, and how to answer them. We'll share sample answers and help you prepare strategically for your next big interview. Our fast track curriculum is streamlined to focus on the most common interview challenges. It's perfect if you need to get really good, really fast. You can also check out our mastery curriculum for lessons on advanced topics and playbooks for specific interviewing challenges. These techniques work, and if you follow my advice, you're going to gain a serious edge on the competition. Ready to get started? Let's dive in.
So it does just give a brief overview of the different areas like I had mentioned, but when we go back to our homepage here, you can see the playbook. You can see there's written curriculum, negotiation help. There's even some resume support here and job search areas. And then one of the really amazing things that I think just has been tremendously helpful to our students is the practice. So practicing the interviews, you can do it by industry. You can do it by skill set. There's a lot of different ways you can just do general mock interviewing. So if we look at the general mock interviewing, you can then see the breakdown here. There's entry level, mid-level, senior level, and it keeps going to different areas. And then there's also different levels of questions. Now this is not live. So these people are just recorded videos of questions that they're going to ask, and you can record yourself responding. So let's say we go to Freddie here. They're going to ask us a question, and you would have your camera on, and you could actually record yourself responding. So you can see the questions on the left-hand screen here. They're just very common, top common like interview questions that you may have in an interview. Now, again, these are general. But if we go back and we do it by industry or we do it by competency or skill set, you'll see things are more specific to your field. And so that's something like if we go to healthcare and we go to nursing, they'll have different advanced areas for you to do this and have different conversations. So you might have a conversation that's more about basic nursing questions, or maybe you want to do something that's more advanced. So again, you can play these back for yourself, and then you can also, we can go in with you and you can show us some of the videos and see if some of your responses, more than anything, I think it's just really helpful to get an idea. I had a student once tell me, they practiced a lot in mirrors and they practiced in front of people, but one thing they didn't notice as like a nervous habit, they played with their hair. And so when they were playing back the video, they started noticing this little nervous energy went to like playing with their hair. And so they tried something different with their hands to kind of either hold on to a pen or, maybe do something less distracting than just playing with their hair. So just some really interesting ways to kind of keep your information together. There's a lot of different ways for, there's a new way to like start building resumes and looking at that. I haven't dove deep into the resume curriculum as of yet, but there's just a lot of great support and resources here. And we'd be happy to help you answer any questions through those too.
Jennifer, wow, this is really such great information for our students. I just want to make a comment for the disability students that when you're doing an interview, be mindful that if you are not going to need accommodations on that job, you do not have to disclose your disability. And Kathy and I, we plan to have a future webinar that will dive into that a little bit more, but I just wanted to reiterate that here while Jennifer was talking about interviews. This is really great.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you talking about that. Any other questions about Big Interview before we move on to some other?
Yes, really quick, Jennifer.
Yep.
Do you have to just be an enrolled student? Can alumni use this? Do you need a UMich address to log in?
Yep, alumni can still use it because they have a UMich email. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just use that, create your profile, and you're good to go?
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And even as, staff, if you have questions about it or you want to look in here, like you can log in and set up your profile too. So there's a lot of different ways, that way to be aware and help our students through some of these tougher questions, or even just, again, some things that we may not have thought of for an interview in a field that maybe they have a specific question here. So it's a really great resource, and I can't emphasize it enough. One other thing that I didn't actually show but is here is the answer builder. So you can even go in and start like building some answers for yourself. Sometimes that's helpful to kind of type out or even write on a piece of paper some answers and just get an idea, not something that you would necessarily read back, right, in an interview, but something that you then can practice and understand, okay, I have an idea of what I would say if somebody asked me, tell me about a time when you were, you used teamwork. And so you have an idea of what that situation, task, action, or approach and results and outcome is. And that's called the STAR method. It's just a way to build your answer. And so they do walk you through that in this process where you can actually name the story and start getting some tips on that. And then again, you can view your answers and you can save them and come back to them. And it's just a great way. You can even organize this so you can save it for the future, and just a lot of different, again, like even the resume that's new to us, the My Resume. So it's a new capability that we're working through to learn what they're offering. So. I will go ahead and hand it back to Britta here to talk more about the other programs offered by Career Services.
Okay. So other programs and events we have, just wanting to go over everything. I know in the beginning I mentioned the Talent Gateway, and the reason you would go in there would be you can also develop a lot of transferable skills, and they have a group of competencies called career competencies. So what has happened is employers have been interviewed by the NACE Association to see what are the top skills are they looking for in their candidates. So you can develop a lot of these skills by going into the Talent Gateway and doing some of those exercises. And also they have a lot of suggestions as as to different kinds of opportunities you can get involved. A lot of ideas about what's available to you on campus and specifically about which competencies you want to develop. So again, all those competencies are listed in there: the critical thinking, problem solving, being a good communicator, being able to work in teams, having cultural fluency, being globally aware, having career management skills, professionalism, work ethic. Those are just to name a few, but those are things employers look for, and they're transferable, which means you can take them to any job, and you take them wherever you go. And so a lot of our programs help you do that. National Society for Leadership and Success is an example of that, developing your leadership and your communication skills and your teamwork. So these are programs we have, and they're there for a specific reason too. Also, I mentioned earlier our virtual fair. We'll have preparation. What we usually do before the week of career fair, which we will also be doing, is called Career Crunch Time. And that's a time where you can come in and just get some last minute tips before you're ready for the career fair. And I know we will also have some tutorials on how do you manage a virtual career fair, how to do that the best way, so that by the time you're ready to go in there, you'll know exactly how it works. And so we will have all of those types of things available to you. Yep, we have the crunch time beginning on Monday, the 5th of October. Also, we talked about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, we have a UM-Dearborn job club. So in LinkedIn, as you know, you can join different groups. So we have a group called the UM-Dearborn Job Club, and it started many years ago when there was a recession. We had about 15 alums who had come in and they had lost their positions in engineering. And we were meeting physically, but as we were moving along, LinkedIn was just beginning to be popular, and we began to see a lot of these engineers were finding their opportunities through LinkedIn. Well, it's expanded beyond that. Those first 15 people, we now have 800 people in there. And so there are alums in there, current students, as well as employers. And it's a great way you can connect because you already have something in common with them. You have UM-Dearborn in common. And so that's a resource you can use, and we can teach you how to use it more effectively as well. We have some LinkedIn workshops that are happening. I believe we have one this week again. We play a lot of the workshops over, and we also keep them recorded so you can watch them at a good time for you. So just wanting you to know what kind of programs are out there, and always, please connect with any one of us if you have questions. And of course, we work with you individually, and we provide you with ideas, referrals, and again, help you with the whole holistic aspect of the job search. So that's an overview. I think what we're going to do, we're going to look now if we have any kinds of questions, or maybe Jen, if you have anything else you wanted to add to that. We've been talking for a while, so you might have some particular questions. I know we have a couple people in the chat room who might have questions. So we are open to any of those questions you might have. I'm going to look in the chat room.
I don't see any questions at the moment.
See if we have any questions.
Do you get any, just add them. So just kind of go over career connectedness. Oh, I said that wrong maybe, but you basically go in and make your profile, and it houses everything. Do they have like an email list?
So
you get like
all of the contacts are in this particular PowerPoint, and so you can definitely use those links to connect with us pretty easily. And we really look forward to answering your questions individually.
Kathy, were you talking about
Jen, I know you created the links for us to get the resumes in there. We also try to get those resumes and cover letters back to you as soon as we can. But I think that's all I have at this point.
Thanks, Britta.
I'm gonna.
Thank you.
So for Career Connections, Kathy, yes, there is, once they have their email in there and they set up their profile, as Britta mentioned, they have, it then will help them actually like with the search in there, because if they have like a major and everything, it'll bring the search of these are applicable jobs for you or internships that you're, readily available for your major. Check this out. It'll kind of give them notification. And then it also, we do have an email list, and that is something that we do email out from our office, and even like the College of Business and other internship offices use it to email out to students upcoming or like new job postings or things to be aware of, or even events surrounding career readiness. Yeah, great question.
Okay, and I don't think people can hear it enough. As we're in this virtual environment, what are your tips for like the appropriate space or dress during like this, like how we're doing a Zoom meeting or job interview process? Just do you have any?
We actually, like I mentioned, we're gonna do kind of like a interview virtual workshop. So we'll go in more detail, but I think it's kind of what we're doing, where we're trying to do a limited background of something simple, not too distracting. You still want to get dressed for the day. Make sure that, it's not just rolling out of bed and hopping on a call. I always joke about putting on real pants instead of pajama pants. Just because it makes you feel more ready and professional. And even though people are only seeing kind of your head floating around, it provides that space of feeling professional as well and being in that environment. Trying to limit distractions. I know a lot of people right now have siblings or, whether it's other family members or children at home. And so virtually trying to either, if I know my daughter's going to be loud in another room, I try to like tell people like in the meeting, like, I apologize. I have a 1.5-year-old, she might be, talking. Now, if it's an interview, obviously she wouldn't be, I'd have her somewhere else. But some people are single parents and they have to, have that conversation ahead of time. And it's one of those accommodations that I think employers and people are making because you have to. It's virtual and there's not much else. It's a pandemic. So if I was a single parent with my daughter, I'd have to find a way to, distract her a little bit. But at the end of the day, like, it's life right now and it's what we're dealing with. So can't always have people come in and watch them. And I think, again, it's as you mentioned, we don't always need to disclose things if it's not relevant, but sometimes you have to, so you can make those accommodations virtually as well as if you were in person. So
another thing that I've been wondering, like we talked about the shorter resume kind of gets the attention of the employee. Anything else, especially in this remote virtual learning environment, anything else that they can do that's probably going to make you stand out and get the attention of the employer?
So, let me see, I think my internet just gave out. Britta, did you want to add anything there? Oh, I think Britta is muted.
Okay. Well, Britta's kind of, we're having some technical difficulties.
I think Britta is muted.
Yeah,
Britta, I think you're still muted.
Right. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that.
If you wanted me to take it or if you wanted to add something.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think you can practice a lot of this in terms of doing some video interviews with your friends, and it's really important. There's just a few tips. I mean, you want to make sure the background is, and I don't know, Jen, you might have gone into that with the background, keeping it pretty simple, but practicing is really the best way, I think, and you get more and more comfortable as you go along. But, just staying flexible with with the environment. Everybody is going to have different technical issues at times, so don't let that worry you. Just keep going with the flow, and you want to be able to present yourself in the best way possible. So you know, using some of the tools we mentioned really does help, and it's a good time right now to be doing that. You know, whether you're taking classes right now, or whether you have extra time to be able to do this, it is a good time to, you know, look at all of your skills, do some interest assessments to see your strengths, and also take some time to be able to work with your you know, the research on the companies and what's out there, and then meeting with us as well. We're here all summer to help you. We're always available virtually, so take advantage of that. Meet with us, and we can really you know, get.
And then, of course, I know.
Oh, Judy, you're muted. Still muted.
So of course, I know that doing your homework about the particular company that you're reaching out to is so important. When they ask that famous question, do you have any questions for us? Do you guys have an example of a question that is just really favored in that particular scenario?
I mean, a lot of times asking them what they like about the company is really helpful in terms of just, you know, getting an idea of what is the typical day like, or you want to be sure to ask them questions about things. And that might have meant you might have read an article about the company, and you might have asked them how they're doing with the new division they just created. So yeah, do have those questions ready, and you know, have a few of them, 5 to 7 ready. You can keep them in a notepad with you or on your device, but make sure they're questions that you couldn't have gotten from the website. And so we also have a list of the questions in our guide. We have a career best guide you can go through, but a lot of them are about the company, how you'll be evaluated, will you be working in groups, you know, those types of questions. And just stay away from any questions that have to do with fringe benefits, pay, those kind of questions you wouldn't ask until you have a job offer.
And I know personally, I've left you know, at the last question is, I'm really excited about this opportunity. I'm just curious, what are next steps in the process? You know, sometimes employers are not always upfront about what's next. And so you leave there going, am I going to hear in a week, a month? Am I going to hear in 2 days? And so that way it kind of also like wraps up the conversation, and they're happy to tell you what's coming up. And I think you asked earlier, Judy, you had asked about whether or not, like how it's to stand out other than the one-page resume. And I think something that's really helpful when it comes to applying is a lot of times it'll say optional cover letter. And if it's an optional cover letter, you know, they could get hundreds of resumes and things like that. But if there's only a handful of cover letters submitted, I personally think that it would help them stand out more if they submit that cover letter, right? Because they took time to write something more than just submitting a resume that may have been updated and tailored to the job. But they took the time to actually write something specific to that company as a cover letter. So wherever there's an option for a cover letter, I would recommend doing that. And also the tailoring to the specific job. And we can help with that. It's really hard sometimes to have the discussion without a specific job description in front of you to say, this is what I'm applying to. Sometimes we can talk a little bit about tailoring for fields and stuff like that, but each job is going to have different terminology they use. And so really looking at how does it align with word matching, with just, again, like, what are they asking for? If they have communication in different ways listed, that somebody needs clear communication skills, and on your resume, you don't, there's not a lot highlighted about you working with other people or communicating information, then adding that, how do we add that in and pull it out of experiences you've had? So really tailoring is really important too. And I think that just helps with the search.
Okay. Also, hopefully this doesn't happen often, but when you don't land the job, does it stop there for you, or should you still reach out to the employee because maybe you could be in line for something else? What type of advice do you give to students about that?
So in terms of interviewing, you want to think of interviewing, it's a conversation you're having with an employer, and you're seeing if it's a good fit, if it fits with your interests. And so if an opportunity isn't a good fit, you definitely want to keep looking at, talking to people from different companies. That can often help too, because, we talked about all this information you can get by researching, through the databases or through the websites, but finding people who work at the company can also be very helpful to talk to them, and do that with other companies as well. Use LinkedIn. We're developing some alumni resources where you can connect with some of our alums who work in different industries, and that can be very helpful, that informational interviewing, because a lot of employers rely on that as well. So if you've done some interviewing with somebody where, and by informational interviewing, we're talking about an interview where you're interviewing someone just to learn about the company. You're not coming to them for a job, you're getting information. And doing a lot of that in your search can be helpful, because once you've spent time talking to someone, they've talked to you, they know you're out there looking, and if an opportunity comes their way, they're likely to call you up and say, I was talking to you 3 weeks ago about my career in my field, and I just happened to know of a position that might be a really good fit for you. Would you like to apply for it? And then you have that person as a go-between who you could mention in the cover letter has, recommended that you speak with them, with this particular company. So really, there's a lot of different tools and avenues you can use when you're doing the job search. So you are going to get situations where, it isn't a good fit, and just see it as an opportunity to learn about more of what's out there. Every time you're on an interview, you're learning more about the job field. You're getting better at interviewing yourself. So it is a process, and so definitely, and come in and meet with us if you're feeling frustrated or feeling like, gosh, I get as far as the last interview and then I don't get the position. All of those kind of things we can help you with and give you some strategies on how to make that work for you.
Yeah, and going off of that too, I think one of the difficult conversations that I've had with a lot of students in these situations is that sometimes employers have an internal candidate that they're looking to promote, or there's something hiring within. And so sometimes it's just you could have a perfect interview, it's a perfect fit, but they already had somebody kind of ready for that position that they wanted, but they had to open the search. And so there are those situations too, where like, maybe it just didn't work out because there was somebody else in line. You don't know, right? You don't know the whole story. You don't know what they've done. Maybe they've even shrunk their department, and they now with things going on with the pandemic, there's going to be changes of roles. And so all sorts of different reasons why, you may not land it exactly every time or get that offer that you were expecting. And I think it is very frustrating. And I think I have more students, talking to me about not getting the interview and not getting in with the company. And we have those conversations about applying very intentionally, and again, doing the cover letter and doing your research and taking that extra time with like quality over quantity when it comes to that. Now I understand quantity when you're looking and you need something and you need it, then yes, send out your resume, get it out there, get that part-time job. But if you really are, specific in your field right now and looking for a job, that quality of the resume and cover letter and getting that extra support is really, really important. And then again, with the interview process, like Britta said, there's a lot of reasons why, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you did something wrong or you weren't good in the interview. It just sometimes isn't the mesh that they were looking for. And sometimes I've had people find out that, you know, it was great, but we think you'd be better in a role like this. And so we're going to keep you on our top stack. And if this comes available, we'll call you then, you know, so there's other potential opportunities as well.
Well, again, thank you. I'd like to thank Britta and Jennifer for joining us today for this chat with the Disability Services to present career readiness. There's some awesome resources available. Again, you can reach out to any of us. Go to the Career Services webpage. They have all their resources there, and this will be posted towards the end of the week on our website as well. So again, thank you, and
Thank
everyone
you.
have a great day. Yep, have a great day.
Yeah,
And
thank
I
you.
would just like to say also, I learned so much today. You guys have been a wealth of information, and this is such a good service for our students. So I recommend that students visit you. And one reason that Kathy and I wanted to do this webinar today is just to let students know, yes, we're in a remote virtual learning environment, but our support services here at the University of Michigan-Dearborn are great, and we are still here for you. So again, I
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
for joining, and it was really great information. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.